cinematic footage, pro audio, perfect exposure, all shot on your iPhone. In this step-by-step guide to the Blackmagic Camera App, you'll learn everything from choosing the right lens and frame rate to mastering tools like focus peaking, LUT previews, and pro audio settings. By the end of this video series, you'll know how to create professional-looking videos with just your iPhone. So when you first open the Blackmagic Camera App, you'll notice in the top left corner is your lens selector. It's labeled with a focal length like 24 millimeters, and if you tap on it, you'll see all the lenses your iPhone has available. The 13 millimeter ultra wide is awesome for tight spaces, big landscapes, or getting that dramatic movement in your shot. The 24 millimeter wide is your everyday all-around lens, super natural looking and really versatile. The 48 millimeter telephoto is great for portraits, close-ups, or when you want to really isolate a subject. And if you've got a Pro Max model, you also get the 120 millimeter super telephoto lens. Just below that, you'll see the selfie toggle. Tap it to switch to the front-facing camera, perfect for vlogging, selfie takes, or solo setups. FPS, or frames per second. This is one setting that completely changes how your footage feels. You'll need to tap the FPS button in the top left-hand side of the screen, and you'll see a list of frame rate options to select from. So let's break down frame rates real quick. 23.98 or 24 frames per second is the classic film look, cinematic and perfect for storytelling. 30 frames per second is a touch sharper, great for YouTube videos, interviews, and modern content. Then there's 60 frames per second, which is super smooth, perfect for sports, fast motion, or clean slow-mo playback. And then for those epic ultra slow motion shots, go with 120 frames per second, great for action, splashes, or stylized effects. Let's talk off-speed recording, one of the easiest ways to shoot slow motion with no editing required. So here's how it works. Set your project to 24 frames per second, but record at 60. The app captures 60 frames per second, but plays them back at 24, giving you smooth slow motion straight out of the camera. So you'll want to use off-speed when you want baked-in slow motion and you're not doing recorded dialogue. And you'll want to avoid it when you need to sync audio and you want to control the speed later in post. My personal advice is keeping it off gives you more flexibility in post-production. Shutter speed controls two things that shape your footage: motion blur and brightness. The golden rule: follow the 180-degree shutter rule. Just double your frame rate to find the right shutter speed. You'll find the shutter setting at the top of the screen and use the vertical slider to adjust. So why lock your shutter? If you leave it on auto, the app may change it mid-shoot based on lighting, which can ruin the feel of your footage. Instead, lock the shutter using the 180-degree rule and adjust exposure using ISO or ND filters. So in the center of the screen, you'll see the recording timer. It shows exactly how long your current clip has been recording down to the frame. The format looks like this: hours, minutes, seconds, and frames. Next up is ISO, your camera's sensitivity to light. It's one of your key exposure tools in the Blackmagic Camera App. You'll find it at the top of the screen, showing a number like 50 or 800. Tap it, and a vertical slider lets you raise or lower the ISO in real time. So here's what ISO does. Lower ISO equals cleaner, darker images, and higher ISO equals brighter images, but with more noise. Since iPhones don't let you control aperture, ISO becomes your main tool alongside shutter speed for dialing in exposure. So my pro tip here would be to keep ISO as low as possible for the cleanest image. Use ND filters if possible, and if it's too dark, fix the lighting first, not your ISO. Next up is the ISO Shortcut Access tool. Gives you instant control to your exposure without reaching for the top menu or breaking your composition. White balance controls how your camera interprets color. You'll find it at the top center of your screen, shown as a number like 5600K. That's your color temperature in Kelvin. Some of the common lighting presets are the following: 5600K is daylight, 6500K is overcast, and 4000K is mixed light or fluorescent lights. So my pro tip would be to lock your white balance before you shoot, and only use auto white balance outdoors in fast changing lighting environments. You'll also see a tint slider. It adds magenta if your image looks green, and green if it's too pink. But use tint sparingly because it's for fine tuning and not fixing. Next up is resolution. At the top of the screen, you'll see a current resolution displayed, usually something like 4K, 1080p, or 720p. The battery icon at the top of the screen is your first warning system against losing a shot. It shows your iPhone's current battery level and stays visible at all times in the Blackmagic Camera app. In the bottom left-hand corner of the screen, you'll see what looks like a little mountain range. That's your histogram chart, a little live chart showing you how brightness is distributed across your image. The left side equals shadows, the middle is your middle tones, and the right side is highlights. So if everything is bunched up to the left, your image is likely underexposed. If it's spiking to the right, you may be overexposed. A quick tip would be to aim for a smooth, balanced curve unless you're going for a specific look. The bottom line, it's not a flashy tool, but the histogram is your most important, reliable exposure tool, especially when your eyes can't be trusted always. At the bottom center of the screen, you'll see a storage and record time indicator. It shows you exactly how much recording time you have left based on your current resolution, Kodak, and available storage. Always check your storage before long takes or interviews, or consider using an external solid-state drive. In the bottom right-hand corner of the screen, you'll see live audio meters. These bars move in real time with your mic, and they are the easiest way to check if your sound is too soft, too loud, or just right. The color coding is as follows. Green is clean and healthy, yellow is getting hot but still okay, and red is too loud, you're clipping and you will get distortion. If you're hitting red, lower your input gain before recording. On the main interface, if you just swipe up or swipe down anywhere on the screen, the entire interface disappears. And when you're ready to bring the tools back, just swipe again and everything returns. Here's a quick tip for focusing in the Blackmagic Camera app. Tap anywhere on the screen and the camera will autofocus on that spot. You'll see a white focus box labeled AF pop up. That's your confirmation. If you want to lock in that focus and exposure, just tap and hold. The focus box will turn into a circle with AEAF lock, meaning your auto exposure and autofocus are now locked at that point. The Blackmagic Camera app includes a built-in stabilization option to help you smooth out shaky footage on the fly. You're presented with 4 options. The first is off, which is no stabilization at all. The second being standard, which is the most common option. Then you have cinematic, which adds more of a floaty, glidey feel for a stylized look. And then extreme, which is maximum stabilization, but with heavier cropping and possibly some image warping. My advice would be to use the standard mode as it's the safest choice and it balances smoothness without feeling overly digital. Avoid the extreme mode unless absolutely necessary, as it can distort edges or reduce image quality. Pinch to zoom is clumsy, unpredictable, and nearly impossible to control mid-shot. The Blackmagic Camera app fixes that with a proper zoom tool, giving you buttery smooth control, just like a real lens. To use it, you can tap the preset zoom levels such as 1x, 2x, or 4x, or you can drag the slider for manual real-time zoom control. If you're using an iPhone 16 or 16 Pro Max, there's a super handy tool called the Camera Control button. It gives you instant access to core manual controls in the Blackmagic Camera app without needing to dive into menus. Just tap it quickly to adjust things like zoom level, exposure, LUT selection, manual focus, ISO, focus peaking, and zebra overlays. Last up is the About section. It's simple but useful. This is where you find the app version number. In the About section, there is a section to open the iOS app settings. Tap this to quickly access your iPhone's system-level permissions for the Blackmagic Camera app. And here's what each toggle controls. Location, photos, Bluetooth, local network, microphone, camera, and cellular data. Use this panel if something's not working, like missing audio, failed uploads, or unresponsive accessories. It's the control center for permissions. That's it for this part of the Blackmagic Camera app series. Now that you've got the beginner setup mastered, up next we're diving into fixing your exposure fast. Be sure to hit the like button and drop a comment below. And don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you in the next one, guys.